On this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast, the employment benefit no one talks about. So, welcome back to this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast. My name is Shawn Yesner, owner and founder of Yesner Law, and I am joined by your financial coach, George Corbello. How you doing, George?
Oh, I'm doing okay, my friend. It's this summer months. The kids are home, and I'm ready to kick them all out of the house again. It's and yes, I have adult kids, so it's I'm like go make money, please. But doing good. Everybody's doing well. I complain, but it's because I love.
Yeah, we're in the height of summer camps as this episode comes out. I'm running kids from one summer camp to the other, and towards the end of last school year, I
Mhm.
got really, really efficient working from home. I
Nice.
was able to get a lot of done, a lot of emails answered, a lot of projects knocked out, a lot of
Sure,
that
sure.
stuff. Now that the kids are home, I find myself wanting to be in the office more.
Wonder what's the
I
connection.
wonder what's I wonder what's up with that.
So efficient, and yet it's okay. But you know what? Uh, it, it's it's hurricane season. It's hurricane season.
Yay.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Just the announcement there.
I
It's
heard there
like,
was one storm
yeah,
in
there's
the
brewing.
Pacific.
Oh, the Pacific, no.
Not even on our side. It's in the
I heard there
Pacific.
was in the tropical. There was like some tropical storm and brewing. I mean, but it's unless it hits. Like it hits land, and people are telling me, go sell off stocks and buy gold. I'm pretty safe right now. We're
Well,
good. We're good.
the funniest part too is when this episode comes out, we'll be right at the beginning of the World Cup.
Ooh,
So welcome to the U.S. Now
yay!
dodge all the hurricanes.
What's a World Cup and soccer? You're saying football.
Football,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
not football, not American football.
Football. Gotcha.
Yeah, my older son is big
Big
into the
time.
World Cup.
Oh, that's good. I watch again. I watch the World Cup. So this is you got me every 4 years.
Yeah.
That and once in a while I'll watch a hockey game. So again, not to insult my hockey fans, but that's where I'm at. Yeah,
I think by the time this episode comes out, the Stanley Cup will be
everybody done.
over.
Yeah, everything's done. And
Yeah.
congratulations to the fill in the
Whoever.
blank.
I think the NBA finals will be done.
That I will say, the New York Knicks, you're welcome. Let's go.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all. That's all I'm betting. I'm betting on the future here, people.
New York Knicks. I'm a Heat fan. New York
Ugh,
Knicks.
whatever.
Okay, so let's stop talking because we have a guest,
Yeah, we do.
and I'm again outnumbered on the
Yay!
show
Once in a year, once in a while, we're gonna do it, buddy.
once in a while. So our guest is the founder of Sanborn Financial Coaching in Joplin, Missouri. He started his business June 1, 2021 to help clients pursue and eventually achieve their personal money goals. He provides personal financial coaching services for individuals and couples. He has a degree in business from Missouri State University and is involved in two professional financial coaching organizations. His specialty involves delivering financial coaching as a unique employee benefit
Mm.
designed to help small business owners attract and retain great workers. The employees are offered personal financial coaching services in 1 hour sessions, either in person or online, as a benefit of working at a particular company, your particular company.
Right.
His wife is Angela. They have one daughter who's a high school junior.
Yay.
Welcome our guest, Barry Sanborn. Welcome, Barry.
Woo.
Thank you, Shawn and George. Thanks for having me on.
So I guess the first question is, when I think of financial coaching, I think of financial coaching to help me, to help myself, to
Right.
help me keep and retain more of the money that I make. But how did you start in this business of working for the companies to as an employment benefit?
Yeah, so coming out of the pandemic, I was taking the certifications for becoming a financial coach, and all of these businesses were having just signs everywhere: hiring, hiring, hiring. We can't find enough people. We can't keep enough people. We are looking to hire, and just heard about some of the benefits they were already offering that they'd never offered before. And it got me thinking, as a financial coach, I could help the employer attract and keep employees with this benefit and help the employee be less stressed, more reliable, not bring money drama to the job because they're feeling better about their money at home. So both for the business owner, it was a win, and for the employee and spouse, it's a win as well.
So is this something that the company pays for as an employee benefit?
There are several options. They can, and some just pay for it outright. It's a monthly fee. That's one option. Others choose to pay and then have the employee pay a copay, to have some skin in the game for that financial coaching services. And then other companies prefer to pay by the person. They say, we will provide this benefit. However, we want to make sure this person shows up, this person keeps it on their side. And as long as they do that, we will provide it, given that they are doing their work and being at the meetings and showing progress.
Nice. I mean, you hear a lot about employee burnout. You talk about, people having that financial stress. How big of a problem is that? What are the employees, what are the companies saying? When you're talking with them, what's the problem? What's big about this problem with financial stress in today's workforce?
Yeah, so the employers are often saying, yes, our employees are bringing their money stress to the job, or else we're seeing it. We're having them be called, text while here at work from collectors, from credit card companies, it's spilling over into their work. Or we're just not seeing them show up as often. Maybe they haven't slept well that night. It's something related to money. So that's one stressor. The other stress that not seeing quite as much now, but companies would say, hey, we have employees who are going across the street for $1 more an hour. And we don't think that's really their problem. We hear that their money's just going everywhere. And if they had some help to manage it, we think we could keep them and retain them from leaving the company.
So it's funny how, I mean, there is situations where, people, if they're stressed out about their finances, if they're stressed out, I'm assuming it'll have an impact on their performance at work, right? It becomes a distraction in one way or the other, right?
Absolutely. I've had company owners say, we have a husband and wife that work together here, and they had brought that money stress into the workplace. And over time, through financial coaching, the business owner saw that money stress go down, and the workers became happier and more productive on the job over time because they were feeling better about their money.
Well, and it makes sense to me too, because you think about how much money does a company lose for example, an employee who smokes.
Yeah.
And so they take a smoke break every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes. I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't smoke, so I don't know. But
Well, if they're really stressed, maybe every 15 minutes. But
right.
yeah, I got you.
But at least every hour, every 2 hours, maybe it's a longer lunch break. But when you analogize that to financial pressure, they're calling creditors to try to work out how much is owed. They're worried about the bank account. They're worried about, has this payment come out? Has this deposit gone in? I'm sure that in its own way is causing as much distraction and taking as much time out of the office as somebody who smokes, on a regular basis, for example. So
that's right.
So what does the program look like? In other words, is this a benefit that you offer during employment hours? Is it offline, after hours coaching? What does it look like?
Yeah. So one of the biggest points that's been helpful for the business owner is, I say, this is not something else you need to administrate. Basically, I won't contact any employees who don't contact me first. And some companies say, we want to offer this, just make sure it's totally off business hours. Other companies will say, hey, come by in our lunchroom or Zoom in over lunch break. The employees can meet with you then, or right after work, here at the office. That's just fine. And then I get a lot of people, evenings and Saturdays are my busiest day for those companies who say, hey, we'll gladly offer this. Just make sure it's off our business hours. So make it where there's some flexibility, where the business owner can feel good that it won't take away from the work that the employee is doing.
Love it. Well, so there's two questions here, but I'm going to start with the employee. With the employees, what are they typically struggling with when you first engage them in coaching? What are some of the things you see specifically with the employees at the beginning, like that they're struggling? What are some of the things that you're seeing as part of their work?
Really, right now, the first thing I'm seeing is they don't have hope. They don't
Mm,
think that things can really improve, that they'll get a paycheck in and it will always kind of be spoken for, and then the cycle will repeat. So, number one would be hope. And then number two would just be strategies. What's a way that I really want to make my paycheck last longer and then have money
Right.
left over for a particular goal, but I just don't know how to do it. So I'm going to help them with, first of all, offering hope and being realistic, that this will take time, but offering them hope. And then, secondly, let's dig in and talk about some ways to make progress, to dig out of this paycheck to paycheck cycle to where they feel like and see that the results are happening with where they're wanting to go.
right. You had mentioned around business owners noticing changes, right? So obviously you gave an example before, but how long does it usually take for the employers to see some of the results as well? Is there a time period that you usually kind of like provide? Because obviously everyone today is like, I need to see it tomorrow. Like this should be instantaneous. But how realistic do you provide like a time frame for the employers to be able to see some of the results?
Yeah, I do say that the financial part will often take some time unless, somebody just has something right there to sell and it's
Mhm.
$50,000 and then they have that money. Oftentimes, though, what the employer says is they see the employee is excited after their first coaching session. They feel hopeful. Just a week or two ago, I had a business owner say, wow, the employee came back and I could tell that he'd really got something out of the session just by his optimism around the office, feeling better, spring in his step type of thing. He said, I could see it that it had gone well, knowing that it was the night before. So the hope, especially, can be immediate. The results over time. One key, George, is when the business owner says the employee never or doesn't ask for a payroll advance anymore.
Ah,
That the employee would say, hey, can you pay me on Wednesday? I can't make it till Friday as payday. Well, then that stops and they're like, wow, okay, this isn't happening anymore. That's a great
sure.
sign. So that's one practical sign I often hear.
One thing I was thinking as the employer, putting my employer hat on, is
Hmm.
that if you as the financial coach can help the employees get their budgets and whatnot under control, you can stretch so that $50,000 salary,
Hmm.
$75,000 salary, $100,000 salary, whatever it is, stretches further.
Yeah,
Which means my employees aren't necessarily asking me for raises as
correct.
often,
Right.
or they're not asking me for as much in a raise, or if I do give them a raise, they can work with Barry
Right.
to make that money go further.
Correct.
So it's worth more to them.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that.
Yeah, Shawn, you're right on. All of those things happen, and it's great to see because both the employee benefits and the business owner as well. That's right, exactly right.
By the way, Shawn, I just wanted to ask, like, I do need an advance on the proceeds for the podcast. So just kidding, just kidding.
The advance from the Patreon account. So what, Barry, what size business or businesses do you like working with? Is it a business that has five or more employees, 50 or more employees? Is it a business with X amount of dollars in revenue? Is it a business with multiple locations? Give us kind of the ideal picture of what a business that you would work with might look like.
Yeah, the ideal business would be a local business where the owner can, make a decision, not have to worry about a corporate office, because that's often where financial coaching benefits go to die.
Right.
But under, yeah, they do, yeah. Under 100 employees has been a real sweet spot. A locally owned business under 100 employees, because the business owner often will see and interact with that employee and see the benefit. The employee can share the benefit, And then word of mouth travels through the company, and other people start calling and saying, hey, I talked to Bill and he said this was going well for him. I'd like to try it out as well. So under 100 employees, small business owner, locally owned, often one location. I do have one that has two locations, but that has been a real sweet spot.
Well, and when you say local, you mean, I think you said it earlier, you mean not corporate owned. You don't
Right.
necessarily mean local in terms of local to Missouri. In other words, if a Florida company called you, if a
Mhm.
Georgia company
Yeah.
called you, but it was just the one owner, that would be a good referral for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, just the one owner. That's well put, Shawn. One owner could be anywhere in the country, but yeah, that one owner small business.
Also let me toot Barry's horn a little bit here too. Hey, I know you business wise, you've been focused, but you've also had a niche for schools. You're also noticing, like from a school district standpoint, like there's opportunities. A lot of teachers are like, "Oh, we're underpaid and I'm under and unhappy, and turnover is pretty high in the education services too. I know, Barry, you've been kind of focusing on like how can I help the school district with some of that employee retention as well.
Absolutely. Yes. My longer term goal is to serve a school district, a local school district, as their school district's financial coach for employees. For those reasons, teachers go above and beyond. I'm from a family of teachers. My wife is a current teacher, and they just go above and beyond for their students. And I would be excited to help them. I've helped some individuals and couples who are teachers. That's been wonderful. And longer term, I would like to help that small business that is a local school district.
Yeah. And that makes sense if you think about like,
Yeah.
what's out there today.
I've always said I've got family who's a teacher as well. My sister's a teacher, and I've always said I think our teachers are
Grossly,
under grossly
grossly underpaid.
grossly
Yeah.
underpaid. And I see it all the time in my bankruptcy practice. I get
Hmm.
teachers that come to me because they just don't. I mean, this is not a new issue
No.
because when I was in college, I don't think you can be a Floridian and not work at Publix. I think
Yeah.
it
Okay, fair enough.
I think it's required. Do they have Publixes in Missouri?
They don't, but I definitely know of Publix for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Everybody knows
Yeah.
the Publix. Come on now.
Yeah.
So I remember I used to work in the summer between my freshman and sophomore year and my sophomore junior year when I was in college. I came home to Miami and I worked at Publix over the summer. One of the head cashiers that was there was a teacher. And this is back in the
Right.
early 90s.
Hmm.
She was a teacher and she worked at Publix because her teaching job during the year didn't give her enough money. So she could work full time at Publix during the summer, part time at Publix after school in the fall and the spring to supplement because she just wasn't making enough money as a teacher. So I definitely agree. This is an issue. I don't know that we're going to solve it on today's show, but
We try though, but I
we
like that.
try. But actually, you know what we probably should do
Please.
is talk to Barry about. Remember, we did that episode about if we were going to put a financial education class in place
Oh,
in the school, what topics would we teach?
yeah.
That one was a while back.
That was a while back. We might have to bring Barry back and continue the conversation specific to financial literacy for teachers. How about that?
Exactly.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So what's one of the issues? What do you think the employees that work with you, what are they most worried about in terms of their finances?
Right now, it's really just lack of hope. And if married, I hear a lot of that one spouse handles everything, but the other one really doesn't know even just. I'm not talking the details. I'm just talking the generalities, and so that communication. And so as financial coaches, we're really trying to listen to what's happening. The tendency is we want to get to the numbers, and that's certainly important. But we're
Yeah.
going to really listen those initial meetings to what's going on here, kind of both perspectives, and really help them just get excited about the possibility that things can improve. And so that's what I'm hearing a lot right now is just don't feel hopeful, stuck in the paycheck to paycheck. And I don't feel like either as an individual I have anyone to help, or as a couple, I don't feel like I'm on the same page with my spouse.
Yep. I was going to say tariffs, but that's just me.
Well, and I was going to say for both of you, actually, I don't know that I've ever asked you this question, George.
Let's go.
What is it? What does the coaching program look like? In other words, is it 5 sessions? Is it 10 sessions? Is it as needed on a monthly basis? Is it we're going to work with you, once a week, and then after 10 weeks, it's just kind of a check-in every month? In other words, what is the how often are you talking to people that you're working with? What does the program look like?
Yeah, so the for the employee benefit, the coaching that's on a retainer, a monthly fee, the employees can reach out as they would like. So for some, we would meet with them up to twice a month for an hour at a time as a coaching session. For others, they might reach out every few months just for, hey, we want to bounce this idea off of you and see what's happening. And then George and I kind of have a similar coaching for individuals and couples. George, you want to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, so again, there's always you start off, it's like a foundational kind of program. You talk about like, hey, we do a 2 hour session, get to know each other, understand the why, what's the goals, the priorities, and then create the budget, right? And then for me, it's the accountability, that foundational period. It's that 3 month program. That usually that's how I, again, help out my clients. A lot of them is we meet twice a month, and we can do weekly depending on your pay period. But most people get paid twice a month, right? Every time if we're living paycheck to paycheck, we probably should be meeting
I, I,
every paycheck.
I'm talking to you weekly. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll get to you one day, brother. So, but I think a lot of us, it's setting the foundation so that you have a plan, you have hope, right? There's hope in regards to being able to save, to get out of debt, to get over whatever the crisis, whatever's in our head when it comes to, our finances, and being able to see it in action, And of course, we're the accountability partner, right? We're not telling you what to do. We're walking beside you in regards to what it is that you need to be able to be successful in business and personal. So that's the program, brother, in
Okay.
a nutshell.
In a nutshell. So, another question that I kind of had was, and switching gears for a minute, or maybe not, but is there an issue that you see, a financial issue that you see, that you think we've got to get this cleaned up? And I know,
Mm,
and I understand, it's offering hope, and
yeah.
it's the lack of hope, but is there something you see, like a lot of the employees that I talk to are in trouble because they have high medical bills, or
Hmm.
because they don't have a budget, or because they have high student loans, or is there a common thread with the people that you're coaching, that they all seem to have XYZ issue that they come to me to help with?
Yes, they feel like, and it does really seem like this, that money just seems to, they'll often use the phrase fly out the window. That a lot of times it is, I had a client use this term, stop for this purchases, meaning they're driving by their convenience store and they weren't planning to stop, but let's go on in. And the next thing we know, we've spent $26 in the convenience store for things we really didn't need. And then we're starting to do that 3 times a week. And then we've made friends with the employees, and so we want to talk with them. So all of a sudden we're doing it 5 times a week, and that's just kind of a natural part of our day. So stop for this purchases where we weren't planning to stop for something, but we did. And then the other thing would be just charges that either have been upcharged or that we haven't shopped around on, that are just being automatically withdrawn from our accounts. For instance, subscriptions we forgot we had, we thought were
Yeah.
free trials, we didn't know that we ever had, we thought was never going to be charged, or cell phone plans that you hear their amount and it's like, wow, that's triple what another company offers if you just shop it. So really, just, you're right, Shawn, hope is one thing, but they need practical dollars and cents things to help them gain traction. So those are some of the most common things I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, I would add one thing that I would add is everybody is very good to show you on the outside. Boy, everything is great. We get look at this vacation here. Look at the Tesla I bought. Look at all these things. Look, look, look,
Look at
look.
my Instagram
Look.
reels. Look at my TikToks.
Very easy, very easy. But the inside, right? It's like we're carrying debt. We have stress around that kind of stuff. We're not talking well with our spouses. We're not talking well even again, it's a performance hit at work. If you're stressed out at home in regards to the money, right? You're not able to focus and be present for family, be present for work. So those kind of things overall, I see that a lot, right? We try to give this image of everything is cool, but boy, burnout is real, and that's one of those factors that can really contribute to that.
Yeah. What about on the business side? Is there something you're seeing in businesses that you think, okay, here's the same thread of I don't know if you want to call it a financial issue, a
Mhm.
financial problem, but same question, but from the perspective of the business rather than the employee.
Yeah, the business owner has recently been saying, "Oh, I didn't know that money was a problem with my employee, and he's already left. He's already gone." And so this benefit can help in that, hey, if you have any problem or any goal, it doesn't have to be things are going poorly, they could be going good, but you want them to get to great, that the business owner just isn't aware of, hey, my person's gonna leave for that dollar more an hour across the street, and I could have helped them. I really could have. So
Well,
just that communication.
and the irony there, and we've talked about this before on the show too, is that if an employee leaves to go for $1 an hour more
Mhm.
across the street, that $1 an hour more isn't necessarily going to solve the employee's
Right.
problem unless the
No,
employee learns how to manage
You got it.
the debt and the money.
That's it. We always
right.
think more money, business, again, employer and employee. We all think how to solve money problems is just making more money. And,
Like
famous quote
it,
in the past, right? More money, more problems. Yeah.
well, I was going to say more money helps,
It helps.
but it's getting the
Yeah.
foundational of what am I spending on? What
Yeah.
am I doing? What subscriptions do I
Yep.
have? Am I going to Starbucks too often? You know what I started doing? So kind of the code in my house. My kids have the green light debit card,
Yeah.
so they get their
Hmm.
allowance put in there every month and they can spend it. My kids have now learned the code word. Whenever they ask me for something that I don't want to pay for, I'll say, "Do you have your green light on you?" I guess I won't buy it then.
There you go.
They're starting to learn.
Love, bro. You
Yeah.
either want, that's all on you, bro. That's
Yeah.
all on
What
you.
they meant to say was, "Will you buy me
Yeah, that's it. Let's
XYZ?"
rephrase the question.
And I'm like, "No, I don't mind if you buy it for yourself,
All good in the hood, man.
but I
Yeah.
ain't buying it for you."
It's funny. I'm having the same conversations, yet mine's are adult kids, and I'm still having that conversation. So it doesn't go away, my friend. Trust me. Oh, that's too good. That's too good.
So I just let me see if I can find it. So here, I just typed into the great Google.
Hey, that's still pretty good.
How much does employee turnover cost?
Mm,
Mhm.
Barry, do you know?
One of the reasons I started was about 4 years ago, it was 4,200. So I don't know
Wow.
anything updated.
Well, so what Google says, employee turnover can cost a company anywhere from 50% to over 200% of an employee's annual salary, with hidden costs often exceeding visible expenses.
yep.
Yeah.
Direct costs, things like recruitment and hiring,
Right.
onboarding and training, compensation adjustments. So, in other words, the person you let go or the person that leaves is at whatever 20 buck
50th of,
20
whatever.
bucks an hour.
Sure.
Well, in order to replace that person, the next person's going to cost you 22 bucks an hour.
Correct.
Something like that. And then hidden and indirect cost, lost productivity,
Yep.
loss of knowledge and expertise,
Knowledge is,
Mhm.
yep.
loss of team morale and engagement,
Correct.
loss of customer and client impact.
Yeah,
Yep.
So,
huge impact. We talk about, employee retention is one thing, but a lot of times you're not talking about people who are just like working with you, right? 3 months. These are people who've
Mhm.
been with the company for years and they're feeling this way. If you have someone who has the knowledge and the expertise, the customer, the interactions that they have, that person walks out the door. that's an immediate hit to the employer. So what
Yeah.
can we do to help, keep those employees? Again, it's not about happy. It's not, again, it's easy to just say, oh, we'll just throw money at it. There's a little bit more nuance to that.
Right.
Yeah. A neat part too about the coaching for the businesses is part of the service is an on call availability where they can call, text, or email with a question Monday through Saturday. So it doesn't have to be like, well, we're not meeting again with Barry for 13 more days. That's part of the service, and that accountability that's really been helpful is, hey, we have a question here. We're on lunch break. Let's text and let's get an answer, and I will
Nice.
find them an answer. As part of that service.
I haven't tracked this. I know I was on a little streak there. I don't know if I still am on the streak. So my question is, how much does girl math impact your life?
I love this
Yes.
guy.
Well, the streak
Yeah.
is I've had to work girl math into almost
Yeah,
every show.
you're doing
So,
pretty well, brother.
so how does girl math impact your life?
Well, I am happily married and have a 16-year-old daughter. So,
He says, "I will plead the fifth on that
right.
one." Is what he's saying.
I had to figure out
I
a way to work it in.
I love it.
I had to figure out
Yep.
a way to work it in. So, I just want to give out real quick. It's Barry Sanborn at hotmail.com. Also, your website is MissouriMoneyCoach.com. Um, Barry, anything else you wanted to add? Anything we didn't ask you?
No, I just am excited to share about what financial coaching can do as an employee benefit for both that business owner and for the employees.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea. I think it's an idea that hadn't really ever occurred to me
Hmm.
as an employee benefit.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, like I said, I mean, normally the business owner wants coaching for themselves or
Right.
for their business,
Mhm.
but to consider it as an employee benefit, I think is a brilliant idea. So, again, thank you, Barry, for being on the show. I'll put the notes or I'll put your contact information in the notes, but real quick, it's Barry Sanborn at hotmail.com or
Yep.
MissouriMoneyCoach.com. For the show itself, I like to mention our Patreon page, which is
Always
patreon.com
nice.
slash crushing debt. And you can go there. You can help us so that I can pay all my employees their employee benefits.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
He's kidding.
All the money goes back into the show. Also, through the end of June, you can still raise money for the pancreatic cancer for the PanCan Purple Stride Walk. I think that link is open till June 30, and then on July 1 it shuts down, or on June 30 it shuts down, and then a couple months later
Start all over.
we'll start raising money for the 2027 walk. Other than that, am I missing anything?
It's a great job. Thank you, Barry.
Yeah, thank you, Barry. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So I think that'll wrap it up for this week's episode. Definitely, as a business owner, as an employee, Barry and his path and his employee benefit will help you have more money at the end of the month rather than month at the end of the money. And we will talk to you in next week's episode.